I have a very unique set of guests for this episode of Performance Anxiety. I'm your host, Marc, and I'm joined by Annie, Nissa, and Oskar Kuchenmeister of Loki's Folly. They're a band made up of siblings 21 and under who have already overcome some difficult obstacles. Annie, the guitarist, discusses her struggles with autism and how it differs between boys and girls. Nissa, the drummer, talks about overcoming her issues with anxiety. And Oskar holds everything down on bass and tells me about playing with his older sisters. They've been getting lessons and guidance from Ryan Smith from Soul Asylum, and they've been playing together for a while. But when Dave Perner from Soul Asylum came out to see them one night, things really started to take off. He even got them their first gig at the legendary First Avenue Club in Minneapolis. Since then, they've recorded their first album called Sisu. It's coming out in May, so check it out and pre-order it. Show them some support and give them a follow at Loki's Folly Band on all the social media platforms. Follow us at Performance ANX, and you can help us out at ko-fi.com/performanceanxiety, or you can pick up some merch at performanceanx.threadless.com. So let's get started with Loki's Folly on Performance Anxiety, part of the Pantheon Podcast Network.
I'm Nissa. I'm Annie. I'm Oskar. And we're Loki's Folly. You're listening to Performance Anxiety Podcast. And we have a new album coming out, Sisu, in May 20th.
And just a fair warning, we may get a little interruption by either my kids or my dog. So just fair warning ahead of time.
We don't ever experience that in our house. No.
Here comes my daughter. So.
Hey!
Hi.
Hello!
Can you hear?
I can.
Okay.
How are you guys?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right. So this is Maggie. That's Nissa, Annie, and Oskar.
Hi.
And their mom.
Oh.
So Maggie is a drum major and plays French horn and mellophone.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And now cymbals.
I do play cymbals.
Ooh!
But no drums, just cymbals.
No drum.
So.
That's too much for me.
All right, get out of here. I got stuff to do.
It was nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you, too.
So, my son may pop by still. My oldest is working, so she won't be here. So, I tell you, today's just been crazy. I mean, my oldest daughter grabbed one of my cords because she was using it for something else. So we had to drive to her work to go get it so I could actually record tonight. It's been crazy. And then I had the tech issue. I couldn't get FaceTime to connect to the email for some reason. And I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm like, oh, come on. So finally got everything working, and now I can relax and just pepper you with all kinds of questions, which I actually won't do. It'll be conversational. So the first thing is first, right? How do I pronounce your last name?
It's pronounced Kuchenmeister.
Okay.
Like Cookie Monster.
Oh, I like that. Kuchenmeister. All right. So my name, my entire name is 8 letters long. It's just Marc Shea. And you will be surprised at how many people get that wrong. So yeah. I don't want to get other people's names wrong. So I like to ask if I'm not sure. So let's go through the band. We have Annie on guitar, Nissa on drums, and Oskar on bass.
Yep.
All right. And then mom is the support system.
Yeah. I hang out in the corner and say hello.
And take some sneaky videos, I did see.
I do. And pictures. And I throw up comments every now and then, too.
Yeah. So how did you guys get into music in the first place? I mean, was mom playing a lot of stuff in the house? Was music is it a big thing in your house?
Yeah, it's definitely been a big thing. We learned a lot from our mom, especially, and our parents, like REM and Johnny Cash and stuff. And then kind of,
nice. As
we got older, kind of delved more into more genres just through our own searching and deep diving. And getting into more of the punk bands, and then finding out that our mom was also into the punk band.
Oh, yeah?
But finding all sorts of new things, and it's definitely something we bonded over and have had many a sleepover, showing each other songs or check out this music video.
Oh, my brother and I would do the same thing. We didn't end up in a band, but I know that familial musical bond.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Actually, my brother and I still do it to this day. We'll just shoot each other YouTube links of stuff. Hey, did you see this?
Yeah.
They are constantly doing that.
Yeah, we'll make clips for each other and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So how did you start playing instruments? Was that something that you guys each wanted to do, or did mom say, hey, I want you to do some lessons and you're going to start off on piano? And
it was something we kind of chose to do on our own. We both just really, really wanted to, and really with the intention to play in a band. So we started when you were 8, which made me like 12. So fairly young, and kind of we both had that intention of playing in a band. And so I started on guitar, and Nissa started on drums.
Okay.
And it kind of took off from there, starting lessons at Twin Town with Ryan.
Is that how you met Ryan, through taking lessons?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That is great.
Yeah, he's been our teacher for
since
that long.
Wow. All right, so that just answered like 3 questions right there. And I'm assuming at that point you're playing covers. Were you writing anything at that point, or were you just sticking to trying to learn other people's music at that?
I think we started very much at the basics with learning how to use our instruments, then how to play. Covers we started on, but fairly quickly started writing songs. I guess we had started out separately working on our own instruments, learning songs on our own, but then after a while we had decided to join our lessons together, so we all worked together on music. So then we started with a few covers, but pretty immediately we're like, song time.
So you guys were playing before there were autism diagnoses and anxiety diagnoses. So were you guys just playing to yourselves and for your family, or were you actually out playing in front of people before all the diagnoses?
Yeah, we were playing before. So our first show was for my 16th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And before that, we were also doing recitals through Twin Town and such, which, little talent shows, recitals, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, is that some of the videos that I saw on YouTube?
Yeah, we've got some of those up on there.
Okay, this is great. I love good riddance. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships or at work, not dealing well with the stress. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better, because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Try doing that in person. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And a special offer to Performance Anxiety listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/performanceanxiety. That's betterhelp.com/performanceanxiety. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. So
That was your very first time.
Yeah, that was my first time playing on a stage.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
At what point, and before I get into any of this, I do want to thank you guys for all the information you sent me on the autism and the anxiety and all that stuff. It's been very helpful.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful.
I'm glad. It's a lot of info that I don't think very many people, it's not like a common understanding or
Yeah,
vocabulary or anything.
exactly. And I learned so much in just the short time I've been discovering everything about it. I learned so much. Like I had no idea that autism is different between boys and girls.
Yeah.
That blew me away.
Yeah, it's like, imagine that, but it's learning it about yourself. And that's me, like, when I got my diagnosis.
That's amazing. That must have just like opened up a whole new world for you.
Definitely. It was like night and day, really. It felt like finally knowing exactly what's going on and why I am the way I am and finding who I am in the world and finding other people like me.
Did that change the way you approach the music at all?
I think it gave me a better understanding of myself in relation to the music, and also some of the like lyrical or emotional inspiration that was coming. That was kind of like, obviously a lot of the songs are fairly angry or emotional or frustrated, and kind of where a lot of that was coming from this like being on the outside of things and not really understanding it, and now getting to understand it.
So, Nissa, how about you? When did all this come into focus for you?
Yeah, I think around the same time.
Okay. When you were learning about anxiety, did that help you playing out in front of people? Did it help you to cope with some of the things that you were feeling?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helped me to realize that when I was feeling extraordinarily nervous for things, it always felt like I was, even though I knew deep down I wasn't, it felt like I was overreacting because no one else was doing that.
Okay.
It was nice to be able to kind of have it was nice to have an explanation, I guess, similar to.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being in the dark about all that, especially when it's about you. That has to be unbelievably frustrating. So I saw some of the covers that you guys played, and it kind of blew me away, to be honest with you. 99 Luftballons. That is one of my favorite songs of all time. I had the biggest crush on Nina back in the mid 80s because I'm old now. I'm 48, so.
Thanks du vielleicht gerade an mich, dann singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons und das sowas von sowas.
But you guys don't just do it. You do it the German version.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you speak German, or did you just learn it for the song, or?
Well, I go to a project-based school, so all of my classes are done in projects, and it was a project that I was doing, a German project. So I'm learning to speak German.
She's doing a good job.
Good. Mom, you're free to comment all you want. You can talk as much as you like.
I used to be a German teacher, and I'm so impressed with her German. So anyways.
Oh, excellent. Oh, man. So you guys have a good coach for that.
Yeah, it was one of the end goals for my project. Yeah, it was very well received for the project as well, so that's nice.
Yeah, you got extra credit on it.
Oh,
with
good.
With the extra song.
Man, you deserve it. That's really cool. And Bjork's Army of Me, that's my favorite Bjork song of all time. ABBA, Take a Chance on Me. Bowie's Heroes. A lot of Christmas songs.
Yep.
And then, just a whole bunch more. Those are the ones that, replacements. I don't know anybody who does replacements covers. That's awesome. That is so great.
We live in Minnesota.
You make a very good point there.
Yeah,
That's true.
You've got the replacements tribute most years, so. Yeah.
So Oskar, what about you? You've been quiet here this whole time. I know you're into gaming, and does any of that help you playing at all? Do you incorporate anything outside of music into your bass playing?
No, not quite. I mean, I know that some of your video game soundtracks definitely inspire you. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So what video games do you like to play?
Well, the Minecraft,
Oh,
and there's one that I don't really play, but I do still like, which is Undertale.
I'm not familiar with that one. I know Minecraft.
Undertale has a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it has a very good soundtrack.
We listen to that a lot when we're with Oskar.
Are you guys gonna do any video game soundtrack covers?
Ooh, that would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think you could be an instrumental too, so that
Yeah.
that Oskar could take center stage.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Andy, your diagnosis was for autism was actually, my understanding from the materials you sent to me, was actually kind of late. Why do you think it was so late? I don't even know how to phrase this question. Is there a reason why it took a long time to be diagnosed?
Yeah, so it's kind of considered average or more common to get the diagnosis as a childhood diagnosis, which is usually from birth to 11 or 12.
Right.
And I got diagnosed when I was 17, which is somewhat common for girls, mostly because of that different presentation and that different stuff. And since it's relatively new, a lot of the research on women with autism compared to men with autism, it's unfortunately very common that it's not diagnosed, because one big difference is that a lot of women tend to learn how to mask very early on, which masking is where you kind of learn to mimic other people in a way to cover up
like social cues and things.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
We would work on that when she was young, and I didn't know that that's what we were doing, but I would give her, she would ask me how to talk to people at school, and so we come up with scripts of things to say and what to do if somebody would say something that would make she wouldn't know how to respond. I'd give her some standard responses, and
Wow.
we didn't know that was an autistic thing.
Yeah.
We just did it.
I would have just done what you did. I mean, I would just helping your kid out. That's
Yeah, right.
That doesn't seem unusual to me. So that's wow. That's amazing. Has writing and playing music, has that helped you guys out with the autism and with the anxiety? Has it helped?
Yeah.
I don't know how to phrase that question.
I think it's definitely become a bit of a coping mechanism for both of us, where I think it's a great way to get out your emotions or frustrations with anything.
Yeah.
And very healthy in that way, in that it's very, what's the word where you work on it yourself?
Evaluation?
Maybe.
That works.
You get to think everything through and kind of get through emotional things. And I think also getting to perform has definitely, at least me, given me some confidence boost, I guess, to be able to do something that's very hard and very difficult, but be able to succeed at it and have fun doing it.
Well, I'm completely amazed, because when I was 20, I definitely didn't have my act together. When I was 15, I sure as hell didn't have my act together. And at 11, I didn't know what I was doing at all. So you guys are just impressing me. I'm completely amazed by you guys. I mean, when I was 20, I was, let's see, 18. Yeah, I was quitting college. That's what I was doing. So you guys have your stuff together a lot more than I did at the time. So is there a primary songwriter in the band? Is Annie, are you doing most of the writing, or is it kind of a group effort?
It's generally a group effort. We work on the songs together in varying degrees, whether it's just as much as like, oh, do you like this or this more? Or if it's literally us sitting together, going line by line, like, okay, what do we do next? Okay, what should we do for the chorus? Okay.
Okay. So, Oskar, are you helping in any of this at all? You throw in some new bass, some funky bass lines or something?
Not really.
Not yet?
The newness is kind of, you've been giving your commentary, but in coming up with ideas for bass and stuff. Yeah. And you've been thinking about songwriting too, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
You had a song that you had in your head that maybe someday will come out. Yeah. You've been working on it for a while.
All right, so Oskar, was bass what you wanted to play, or did your sisters kind of make you do it?
It's what I wanted to play.
So are you paying attention to a lot of bass players in bands now and listening to what they're doing?
I should just listen to the music.
That's a perfectly fine answer. That's what I would do. What kind of music are you listening to besides the stuff that you guys are doing? And video game soundtracks?
Well, some of the bands are like My Chemical Romance, Cat Stevens.
Yeah, all right, so I got to ask you a question about this, because I did notice in what you guys sent me, how did you get into Cat Stevens and Woody Guthrie? You're 11. I didn't even know who they were.
My mom and sisters.
That's amazing.
Woody Guthrie, though.
School. Yeah.
You can tell that story.
Yeah.
So, all right, so tell me about how school got you into Woody Guthrie.
It was a specific song.
This land is your...
Yeah, that song.
You can
Which song was it?
Land. Yeah. And it was something that you sang at school. And I just liked it a lot.
So he came home and we listened to it every night for many months.
Yeah.
I unfortunately ended up talking over you guys. What was the song name again?
This Land is Your Land.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Man.
But then that led, he wanted to hear more Woody Guthrie. And then what's your other favorite Woody Guthrie?
Hobo's Lullaby.
Nice.
Then he wanted to hear other people like him. So I just kind of pulled Cat Stevens out from my youth. And
yeah.
he just latched on to that. He just loved it.
You know, it's funny. I remember when I was in third grade, my teacher would bring in Cat Stevens albums, and instead of doing like math, he'd throw on Cat Stevens, and we'd end up listening to Teaser and the Firecat, or what? I think that's what it was.
Teeper the Tillerman?
Yeah.
Or the Firecat.
Oh,
or both of them.
Oh.
Both of them. He would just bring in like 3 or 4 Cat Stevens albums, and just we'd be doing that instead of whatever lesson was. He was kind of a hippie, so.
My second grade teacher did the same thing. That's how I got into Cat Stevens.
Something about that time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do work. Let's listen to some Cat Stevens. So, all right. So
That would be his dream.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you my favorite Woody Guthrie song. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's Mean Talkin' Blues.
I don't think I've heard that one.
No?
All right. You got to check that one out. That's my favorite Woody Guthrie song. All right. You guys have just this amazing, aggressive sound. It's just, to me, and I think I sent this to you, it kind of gives me this Breeders meets L7 with the Melvins vibe. It's just, I don't want to say brutal, but it is in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
You have this like gnarly guitar tone, these awesome aggressive drums, and this really great bass though. I mean, it's like, the bass cuts through because it's clean. And I love that. I just love that little juxtaposition there. Is that something that you guys, that was a direction you wanted to take? Was more of a punk sound from the beginning?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I can jump in on that one. There was the day that Annie came to me and they were practicing, and she looked at me. She goes, "Is it okay if I scream?" And I said, "Go ahead. Of course you can scream. It's your song."
Yeah, exactly.
I always remember that.
So Minnesota has a pretty storied punk history, and you guys working with Brian, who's part of Soul Asylum. Is that how you guys got Dave Perner involved in working with you?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because I'm really curious to know how that whole connection got made.
Yeah, so we had started playing a few more shows in slightly bigger venues. We were doing our biggest show yet at the time with Haley, who is a great singer from here, and we'd gotten that through Jeremy Elbasacker, who we'd just done another show with. So it was very exciting. And before the show, we were getting ready, and we got an email from Ryan, and he was like, "Oh, there's gonna be a VIP coming tonight," and we were like, "Oh, cool!" And we assumed it was gonna be like a joke, like his daughter.
Right.
And, we're like, "Oh, awesome!" Excited. And so we get there and we're playing, and we get up on stage. We're super. It was a Halloween show, so we're dressed up in these Viking costumes.
Oh, awesome!
Which was really fun. And we get up on stage. We're playing about halfway through the set. I'm playing, and I look down. And I'm like, "Wow, that guy looks like Dave Perner." And then I look at him, I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh wow!
That's not who I thought you meant.
Wow!
I was freaking out, and I think I fumbled a solo or two after that.
Understandable.
And spending that whole time like, how do I tell Nissa? And then I realized if I find a way to tell her, she'll be as nervous as I am. So I'm like, how do I not tell Nissa? And so get through the set, and we're taking our stuff downstage. I'm like, "Nissa, come over here. Look over there. Do you see?" And she's, "Oh my god!"
That is awesome.
So yeah, we went over and we talked to him, and he was there, and Janine, their tour manager, was there, so we got to meet the both of them.
Wow.
And talked for like a super long time. And then during that, he was like, "Have you guys ever played at First Avenue?" And we're like, "No." And he's like, "Well, do you want to?" And we're like, "Okay."
Wow.
So that was how that happened.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Yeah.
What blows me away, I know you guys are from the area, but it still kind of blows me away that you guys know who Soul Asylum is. Nothing against Soul Asylum. I like Soul Asylum. But, I mean, they had been around for a while when I was in college. So, like, if I told my kids Soul Asylum was playing, they'd be like, "Who?" But, I mean, sorry, Ryan. Nothing against you guys.
They have a very wide range of music tastes. It's very wide.
That is good. I'm really surprised at the maturity level. Like we were just talking about Oskar, listening to Woody Guthrie, for crying out loud. It's amazing. So the album that you guys recorded, it's coming out in May. Now I definitely have questions about this. So you've already released some music.
Yeah.
From it. And I was watching a lot of the videos, I got to be honest. And in the lyric video for No Right, there's a spot that says "calling." What is calling? I didn't even, and this isn't a question that I already had the answer to. I wanted to be genuinely surprised by this. So.
Yeah. Well, for starters, it's a cool name.
I should have asked.
And it's a Swedish word. It's the original use was that it was a herding call for the cows. it was used specifically by women in Sweden in like rural areas, and it's very loud, and
I think it's the loudest, one of the loudest like vocal things a person can. Yeah.
Oh, there goes my dog. My dog is cooling right now. Oh gosh, I swear he's such a mess. I don't even know what he's barking at because there's nothing outside. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. The other thing that, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this, the Christmas video from 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, how do you pronounce that?
That one is Tontuyen Yoluye.
I'm glad I didn't try that. All right. You guys do some really wild Christmas stuff. I mean, I'm recording this at the end of February, and I'm into Christmas music right now. So thank you guys.
We listen to Christmas music all year long. So.
Oh, I get it in my head all year long, and I can't listen to it because once I get to Christmas season, then it's just lost its magic. So but it runs in my head. Like I'll be in the middle of July, I'll be sitting around and I'll be like, why is Winter Wonderland popping into my head right now? And that's not even a joke. You can ask my wife, because I'll be walking around the house whistling like, I don't know, something.
We really like Christmas here. In fact, Nissa's third birthday was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer birthday, and her birthday's in April.
Oh, nice. So you guys are really into Christmas. That explains so many Christmas videos. Now, you guys went into the studio. I guess I should ask that question. Did you record all this in the studio, or was it done at home like a lot of people have had to do over this whole pandemic?
Yeah, so the album was actually, all the like bass instrument vocal tracks were actually recorded before the pandemic. So they were recorded in the studio. We got to work at Flower Studio with Ed Ackerson just before he passed away. Yeah.
Oh man, I love his stuff. That guy was great.
Yeah, it was the most amazing experience ever. He was so great to get to work with.
Oh wow.
So we got to record, I think it was three songs there with him, and then the rest we recorded at IPR, which is a college here, with Kevin Bowe.
Not Little Mermaid.
And it's been so long since we released that I forgot it's on the album. We also did then the Little Mermaid with your cousin. I'm like, I don't know how we call that, but your cousin. Our mom's cousin.
Second cousins? Or I think, I don't know, all that stuff.
I don't know. Your second cousin, I think you're right.
Just say kind of cousin.
Somebody's cousin. It was somebody related to you guys. So how was that experience for you? Was it, it's a lot different than playing live.
Yeah.
Was it fun, or did you like, this is doing the same thing over and over again?
Well, we recorded a lot of the songs first time through, close to first time through. A lot of it was, we went in with a plan. We did it, how many songs was it?
7 or 8?
7 or 8 songs at IPR all in one day. So we just kind of, we went in and then we did it all.
Oh my gosh.
And got as much done as we could.
You guys are workhorses.
They were super prepared before. Yeah. I mean, they had their songs like really, 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 really well ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, some of them I know are several years old, like Castle on the Moon. You guys have been playing that for a long time.
first song we wrote.
That's a cool song. I like that.
Yeah. And we have we wrote it in the time period after Black Star, the album by David Bowie, was released, but before he died, which was like that 2-week span.
Yeah.
Because it came out and we were like, oh my god, this is amazing. We were so inspired, and then we rewrote the song in between.
I love that story. That is fantastic. So I'm listening to the album. I don't know if you guys have a sequence for the album yet, because the way my computer put it onto my thumb drive so I could listen to it in my car was alphabetically. So I really don't know how this thing starts off. But the first song I heard was Appease the Girl. And that's the one with Dave Pirner, right?
Yeah.
Insane. That guitar is just crazy. I love it. I gotta say though, I don't know if it's my favorite. It's up there, but I'm kind of torn between Beaches and Peaches. I love the I don't know that is it a type of cooling you guys are doing in that in the. You guys do a little howl at the end of each verse in Beaches and Peaches.
Yeah.
That is so catchy. That's what really drew me. I'm like, this is great. And that's what made me think of the Breeders.
I'm sitting on beaches, eating peaches, the government is corrupt. Going out with an appetite, now the world is gonna erupt.
So I was like, this is good. And I like the Breeders. So I was like, okay, I can get in with these guys. Appease the Girl, I was easy to get. I'm like, but you hear a band, you hear one track from a band, you're like, oh, this is really good. And then you hear the rest of the album, and you're like, this is nothing like what I just heard. So when I heard Appease the Girl, I was in. But when I heard Peaches and Peaches, I was like, I am definitely in. This is great. And I love the chorus you guys did at the end of Trickster. That was so cool. Was that something that you guys figured out on your own, or was that something that you were guided to through a producer, or was it something in between?
I think that's something that we kind of chose. We might have had some help from Ryan. But a lot of it also came from playing it live, and a lot of things kind of materialize that way too, where things start to sound good and we keep doing it.
I love that chorus. It's so full. It's great. It sounds like more than 3 people. I'll tell you that. It is fantastic. So,
thank you.
When you're playing live, I noticed that Annie, you and Nissa are both kind of singing at different times and sometimes together. Is there a process to figure out who's singing what song?
In a way, in that I think we kind of just choose. Yeah, it oftentimes, if someone has an idea for a melody, if Annie comes up with a melody for a song that it's also, I think, depending on how much, if you wrote most of the lyrics, then you're probably gonna at least start singing it, and then we'll figure out if we want to add my vocals in at some parts. But
I mean, like, Into the Darkness.
But then again, in Into the Darkness, it's mostly me singing, and she wrote that one mostly. So
I think it's kind of like a matter of like who it's easier for to sing, or whose voice we think will sound better, or who's more comfortable with which line, or what feels most fun.
Oscar, do you have any plans to sing?
maybe.
Maybe.
He sang on ABBA. And Take a Chance on
Right,
Me.
yes.
Yeah.
I did see that.
If you change your mind, I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. I'll be around. If you got no place to go, if you feel it, all alone.
That was like his
It's first foray.
yeah.
Did that make you want to sing more, or are you like, I'm done with that?
I might sing more.
Yeah? Awesome. That would be great. Singing bassists are fantastic. Look at Geddy Lee.
Yeah.
Don't tell you have to know who Geddy Lee is, right?
Maybe he knows the song better, the one that we play the most from. we play Rivendell a lot from Rush.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting choice. Most people are like, yeah, Tom Sawyer. Not-
But we have a Lord of the Rings themed playlist, so got to get all the.
there you go.
It's got a lot of Led Zeppelin.
That makes so much sense now. Oh, okay. So how does what you're reading influence your songwriting? Because I noticed that one of the songs, Into the Darkness.
Yeah.
So that's based on Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Take you to another land with their spinning clocks and their magic hands. The monkeys will tell you to run away. Get out of here, but you gotta.
Is fiction something that you draw a lot of inspiration from when you're writing?
Definitely. I think whether it's like inspired from the stories or inspired from the writing style or just anything, I think we draw a lot from stories. And I think it's also just something we bond over a lot, like watching movies together or sharing books we're reading.
I think it's also when, like, especially since we do a lot of collaborative writing, I think it's helpful to have something that you can base that type of writing on, so you can go, oh, I want this song to sound kind of like Doom Patrol. Or I want it, and then you can go, oh, okay, I know what you mean, I can help you figure that out. It makes it easier to get a reference.
Or
Okay.
like Little Mermaid. We were like, yeah, what happens in Little Mermaid? Let's write that into the song.
That is great. All right, so Scissormen. And I don't know anything about Doom Patrol. I just listened to a couple things and did a little bit of research, but not nearly as much as I probably should have. You've got these phased lyrics, and at the end, I can't even really tell what you're saying. These kind of garbled lyrics. Is that based on the Scissormen in the book?
Exactly. That was like something like we had this kind of like really in your face confused sort of beginning to that song where it's got that riff and then the screaming, and it's just all about the purpose is to turn you on your head a little bit right from the start,
Okay.
which just immediately made me think of Grant Morrison and Doom Patrol and those specific characters. So then it was like, how do I make the lyrics kind of match that sort of like random words, but like
Nonsensical.
well, yeah.
Okay. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know if it's both of you, but good Lord, you guys have a scream. Whoa. I mean, it's like Kurt Cobain level Bleach era screaming. It's unreal.
Thank you.
That specific song is very fun to see the audience reaction to live.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It probably gets the most.
Yeah, if you're looking around, if there'll be some people, look
Talking.
doing their own thing, but it always kind of freaks everyone out.
The one song that kind of sticks out for me as being different than the rest is definitely Truth or Dare. I think that might be my favorite because that has a 1969 Black Sabbath riff to it, and I love first Black Sabbath album, and that is what the first thing that pops into my head as soon as I hear that riff. Was that an older song? Is it a newer song? Is that maybe a different direction? You guys going from the punk to maybe a little more doom metal?
That one was fairly old, fairly early. I think we wrote it after, it was maybe our third or fourth song.
Oh, wow.
I feel like, though, I might be remembering wrong, but I feel like we, did a lot of, it started off a lot different, I feel like we, through the years added on.
We've added, it started off a lot simpler, and then it was like, let's add a backup vocal here, and let's add a guitar, bend a note here and there,
One of the things I did notice about several of the songs, though, you guys are really adept at time signature changes and tempo changes. It's unbelievable. I mean, so we'll just go back to Truth or Dare. It starts off Black Sabbath, and then all of a sudden it goes to punk. Yeah. And then back to Black Sabbath. Yeah. You guys are really good at that. I mean, did that take a lot of practice, or is there some kind of sisterly, brotherly bond that you guys just intuitively do that?
Well, I think it started with, we kept writing songs that just, well, I guess I would sometimes bring them to Nissa, and she would have to go, these are all different time signatures, but then we made them.
This is great, but these are all different.
It's all different. But
poor drummers.
Poor
And now poor Oskar, he's got it figured out too.
Poor Oskar, But we would work on it really hard and be able to get it where we'd be able to cue each other really well, just with a glance or a movement or something.
Can just quickly look at you and go, okay, we're speeding up now, okay, and then
I love that. That is so great.
They have the secret sister and brother language on stage. So.
That is fantastic. So Oskar, you've been in the band for about a year now.
Yeah.
How are you handling this? You enjoying playing live? You enjoying hanging out with your big sisters and playing some music?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all right?
Yeah.
How did you, do you remember the show, the live show? What was that like?
The live one?
Yeah.
He's played once live.
Oh, wow.
Outside at
that one. All right.
Yeah. Do you want to say what you played? Or where you played?
Yeah, where was it?
It was at Twin Town.
Oh, cool.
Twin Town Guitars, where they take lessons.
Yeah. Got to play at
Open Street Show,
Open Streets, yeah.
Oh, okay, so that was the video that's on... Is that...
Yeah, we've got some video from that on
okay.
there.
Yes, because I take a million videos. I try not to be that mom, but I am.
No, you can't help it. I mean, you got talented kids.
They're so fun. They're just fun to take video of.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And you got to be proud of them. It's
very.
That's so. Oskar, did you get any anxiety or nerves before the show, or were you just like, let's do this?
I did before the show, but during it, that was fine.
Yeah, you got settled down pretty quickly?
Yeah.
Did you do anything in particular to settle your nerves, or was it just focusing on what you're playing?
Well, he talked about when you got up there that you sat up there and then you looked out at the crowd and everyone looked like they were having fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that helped?
Enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good. It does help when people are enjoying. Like if we were talking and you guys weren't into this at all, I'd be like, oh God, this sucks. I don't do this anymore. So when is the album coming out?
It's coming out in May, on May. Okay, I can't be the one to say it because I get every single date wrong every time I say it.
We could just stick with May. It's coming. It's due out in May. You never know. Things can change. So, what is the album title?
It is called Sisu.
All right. Is there a meaning behind that, or because I don't want to pronounce things for you guys anymore because I'm doing apparently a very poor job of it.
Not at all.
So, what does Sisu mean? Is there a meaning?
Yeah, so Sisu is a Finnish word, and it is kind of like your internal strength or your ability to like push through hard things.
Wow.
And we felt like, it's a good thing to try to keep in you normally, but also with the pandemic and everything kind of being very hard on everyone, I think it's something a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
Having to find some Sisu to get through things. And
I'm going to ask this. This is going to be a very clunky question, so please forgive me. Do you write is any of the music and lyrics that you write, is that specifically based on the autism, like your experiences with people and how they treat you once they know you're autistic?
Yeah, A Piece the Girl was definitely about that in a very direct way of speaking, in a very direct way.
Yeah.
It was kind of in reaction because I'd been having like a lot of issues. I feel like I say I'm autistic and you can kind of assume that school is a hard thing.
Right, yeah.
So I'd been having a lot of issues at school and it was getting really bad and I was having meltdowns, and at the time I didn't even know what meltdowns were, so it was just a really scary experience to kind of lose control like that and not really know what it was, why it was happening, or where it was coming from. And then it got to a point where I was like missing school and gone, and so I had then gotten my diagnosis because of all these issues I was having, and it was, like I said, this like big, huge relief. And so one of the first things that they recommended was to go to the school counselor to get some accommodations to make it an easier experience. Okay. Which we went to go do, but it didn't it didn't go the greatest. It kind of, oh no. Unfortunately, it was kind of like going in saying I was having these problems. I had the diagnosis. I was wondering if I could get some help, and the person we were talking to was like, "Oh, well, I think you were doing fine. I think you don't need any help, and what? I don't think you're really autistic or really dealing with any of this."
Oh my gosh.
Which was like, yeah, a really hard experience.
Oh my, that's gotta be so frustrating.
My mom was there with me, and
it was a devastating experience.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry I had to go through that.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but
a good learning experience, nonetheless.
And I left that school in that situation, and have had plenty of good experiences too.
Good. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah,
that was the first experience of how females with autism are treated, because at that school there were many males with autism who had a lot of accommodations and a lot of help, and so we just assumed we'd go in and tell them, and it would be like, okay, here's what we do.
Right. Nissa, what about you? Do you write anything with your experiences in mind?
I mean, I would.
Maybe the love song.
The majority of the songs that I write are in like the only song that I've written completely independently is the love song. All the other ones,
the ironically titled love song.
yeah.
She was 11 when she wrote that. The emotions of an 11-year-old not knowing how to express their frustration.
Yeah.
It was specifically about as well. I was quite, I didn't speak up a lot in school, and there were sometimes I would feel very, very angry, but I wouldn't be able to show that I was very, very angry in any way. And I think that was the way that I dealt with it. So I just went home and wrote it all out and went, Annie, do a song.
Well, I love that you guys support each other so much. I love that your mom is so supportive. It makes me feel so good to know that, you guys are out there. I have so much respect and admiration for you guys. It's just, and I'm so glad Ryan introduced us. It's incredible. I love the music. I think it's awesome. I can't wait for it to come out so I can actually share it with people. And because this stays with me until it comes out. So I have told them to go check out your YouTube page. So what's up there is what they're hearing. So anything else like Beaches and Peaches and Truth or Dare, Trickster, nobody that I know has heard them, and I cannot wait for them to hear it. So where can people follow you on social media? What are your handles, and how can they find the album when it comes out? Is it coming out on Bandcamp, or just tell me all this great information?
Yeah, so we've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it's Loki's Folly or Loki's Folly Band on all three of those. And then we've got Bandcamp, and then it's out on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, all of the digital platforms that everybody loves.
I didn't even ask. How did you guys come up with the name Loki's Folly?
Yeah, when we were coming up with band names, trying to decide, I was actually reading Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology.
Oh, I love Neil Gaiman.
I love him so much. He's like one of my favorite authors. So when he came out with that, and we're Scandinavian and very into our Scandinavian stuff, so it was like
great,
perfect connection, and the way he writes it was just so perfect, and it kind of came out of that book.
That's perfect. And you got to make me feel bad though. I'm like 30% Norwegian, and now I feel like I got to go learn more stuff. So, but I'm like, I didn't get any of the Vikings. I got 53% of the Irish, so I'm like the leprechaun and not the Vikings. So unfortunately, but hey, what can you do?
We like the leprechaun in American Gods.
Oh, there you go. Well, I've really enjoyed this. This has been so much fun, and it's been great listening to the music and learning about autism, because to my detriment, I hadn't explored it in any detail at all. So, what you guys sent me from Temple Grandin and Chloe, was it Chloe?
Chloe Hayden, yeah.
Wow, she's a fireball.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, she's funny too.
Yes.
So I appreciate that you guys sent me that, so I felt a little more prepared, because the last thing I wanted to do was ask an entire interview's worth of clunky questions. I think I got like one or two. So. Hope I did okay for you guys.
More than amazing.
You guys are playing a release show at a pretty big show.
Yeah.
So where is it, and who's going to be there with you, and how can people go there and listen to you?
Yeah, so it's going to be at legendary First Avenue we're opening for Shellac, which is like...
That's huge.
Yeah, we got to tour with them right up to the start of the pandemic, and so this is the finale of that.
Oh, man.
It's just so exciting. So
Oscar's going to be playing for Shellac. One of his first shows.
Yeah, yep.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh, so all right. So when is the show?
It is May 20. Yes, 20.
All right, May 20th.
Which Wait, that's the release. Wait a minute.
May 21st.
Sorry, May 21st.
May 21st. We can edit that. We can edit that. No big deal. That's what editing's for. Hey, you get so many dates. It's confusing, and they're so close together. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I've learned so much just by researching for you guys. So I want to thank you for that. I love you guys.
There you go.
I'm just so in your corner. I don't even want to hang up right now. I'm so in your corner. I really want to help you guys out as much as I can. So
Thank you so much.
oh, my pleasure.
We call those sleepover calls.
I feel like I'm about to be on one, but I can't do that. I got work tomorrow, and you guys got stuff to do.